So you're thinking of putting your house on the market during the busy season. Maybe you are in the Villages or a surrounding Central Florida area, especially 55 plus community. This is going to be high season, anywhere from January through March and even into April. This is going to be the busiest time, and a lot of people are thinking of listing. But the scary thing is being up against so many other homes. So I want to give you 4 quick tips as a seller to really stand out, really have your listing shine. And it's going to take a little bit of work to really properly get it listed. So the first thing is you want to make sure that it's prepared, basically. And that can scare people, that can overwhelm people. Maybe the thought of staging or painting or getting rid of the popcorn ceilings that nobody loves. It looks like cottage cheese. Well, if your home has that and you're able to get rid of it, sure, that's great. But can you still sell a home with the cottage cheese ceilings? Sure, you can. I actually have one under contract right now. I can't tell you what we're closing at, but very, very good. We got it, we listed it at a very competitive price, and we made the house shine in different ways. So just because you have things that maybe aren't desirable, maybe you've heard things like you can't sell your house with carpet, or you can't sell your house with certain colors, maybe the paint is outdated. Of course, if you can go into a model home and get ideas and duplicate it and make it look like a clean, fresh, brand new home, that's great. But there might be other things that you can utilize. So, could be decluttering, depersonalizing. When I go into my sellers' homes, that's what I evaluate. How can I make it pop and look good for our buyers? You want to address their concerns. So this is the second thing. It's really, really important. You want to think about what a buyer, and I'll show you a little idea. When I go out with a buyer, I highlight certain things. What is that buyer looking for? So they're looking for basic things like how old is the HVAC? How old is the roof? How old is the hot water tank? They're looking for, what year it is, what square footage it is, how much it's going to cost them to operate. That's something that you should know. You should have a list of all your utility providers and the cost per month or per year. You should really address their concerns up front. So maybe you have a roof that's older and you don't have the resources to put on a new roof before you list. So maybe putting a credit or some sort of partial credit at closing, that could be an idea. Same thing if you have carpet. You know that a lot of your buyers are not even going to want to look at it, but maybe you can put in a flooring credit. So you need to be realistic. Just because you love your carpet and you love certain things about your home doesn't mean that your buyer is going to want to. So know those criteria of what your buyer is looking for. The third thing is you want to put yourself in the buyer's shoes. So in a different way, not just the criteria that they're looking for, the structure of the home, the foundation of the home, but more emotionally put yourself in your buyer's shoes. You want to, talk about your community. What's the highlight of your neighborhood? As your realtor, I might not know that there's pool parties once a month in the neighborhood, hosted by Jan down the street, right? There's going to be fun things that about your neighborhood. I have one under contract right now, and that's what we did. We actually found our buyer at an open house, day 3 being on the market. And this particular buyer was from New York, and she had visited the Villages, but she didn't know the community. So I actually collaborated with my seller. We had, before we were on market, we had a list of all the amenities nearby, the favorite amenities. I was able to also talk about amenities outside of the area, and it really helped her connect the dots and feel more at home. Talking about the farmer's market, or this show that goes on once a year at the rec center, different things like that really make the buyer feel like, okay, I know this community, I'm excited to be a part of it. The last thing is you need to know your market. So you really need to know what you're up against. You need to know, of course, the comps, what has sold, what is on the market. Just because, just because your neighbor has it listed under market value doesn't mean that you need to do that. The home that I have listed, we met our buyer in 3 days, that we have under contract right now, when we listed it, we were very, very strategic with the first 3 things that I just gave you. And that really, really helped us with this last part, because they didn't want to just let it go for under market value. There was a house literally down the street, same model, same year, basically the same house as theirs, but we were able to display, and just really show the features of their home and the value of their home a little bit differently. And we were able to list it at the top of the market, and rightfully so. It was a well-maintained, very lovely home, whereas that house is still sitting on the market. They have been on for over a year down the street from them, and they are now way under market value. So you don't want that to be you. You want to make sure that you are doing these first 3 steps. And there is a lot that goes into it, but don't be overwhelmed, because sometimes the littlest things can go a really long way. So I would love to chat with you. If you have a home in a 55 plus community in Central Florida, and specifically in the Villages, I'll be able to give you a little more insight there. And maybe if you're outside of the Villages, I can refer you to a great partner or someone that I know. But maybe you're in a certain area, maybe you're in Bonnybrook or Collier or a different village, and you want to know what's the market like and what are buyers looking at right now. I'd love to give you some insight. So feel free to reach out. Have an amazing rest of your cold weekend if you're here in Florida. And I know we'll get through this. I think it was in the 50s, but earlier we were in the 20s. So we will survive. Have an amazing day, and happy selling.